Hello and welcome to the Kavkas, you guys. Hey, how you doing? Today we got a special one for you lot. You ain't got nothing to do. We ain't got nothing to do. And my guest today tried to disrespect our GOAT, Eden Hazard, all right? We're chatting on the phone. We're talking. And then he tries to tell me Bale, Hazard, same caliber of player and should be the same level. Ethan, introduce yourself and state your point, cuz.
Well, peoples, it's good to be back. It's been a minute, but quarantine time. Had to bring it back. And I have to stress this because I just have to say, same tier of player, not better player, just same tier. Like how me and it's talk. We have the icons of world football. You have the legends. You have the world class, very good, so on and so forth. Okay. Hazard is in the world class tier right now. He's a Chelsea legend, but if you're talking whole football, he's a world class player. Bale, listen, he has his injuries or whatnot, but when all said and done and what he's capable of doing, he's in that world class tier as well. You might want to try to argue with Hazard being the top end of it and Bale in the bottom end. I don't care. I'm saying they're in the same tier, and that's.
He's actually trying to piss me off today. I'm not gonna lie to you lot. Yeah,
Aye, for you lot.
I'm telling you, innit? For you lot. Listen, if my kid ever comes to me in 15 to 20 years' time and tries to tell me, Dad, Bale was kind of wavy. He was on the same level as Eden Hazard. I will dash him out the window. I'm telling you. Go find your own living. You don't speak like that about the GOAT in this house. All right? So listen, the way we're going to do this, yeah, I'm thinking for you guys, it would be easier. We chat about Hazard's career up to now. We chat about Bale's career up to now. And then we literally go into a one-on-one debate, Stephen A. Max Kellerman style. But in this case, I will win because I'm Max.
I like you. Yeah, Stephen A. right here, bro. I love it.
Do you know what I mean? But we'll go with that.
It should be you because I know you're going to get a lot more heated about this than I am.
Fine, I'll be Shay Sharp on this side, innit?
But, don't give me skip.
Anyways, all in all, let's get started, innit? So, Eden Hazard, 2007, blew up onto the scene at Lille. Good youngster. Always had potential. When was the first time you heard about Eden Hazard, bro? Talk to me.
First time I heard about Hazard would have been 10-11 when... No, so it would have been Joe Cole was in talks of going to Lille. And then also... Was it Montpellier won the league that year?
I think it's the year Shamak did absolute madness. And then he got signed.
Oh, yeah. So now I've got the timeline. 9-10 is when Shamak done madness, then went to Arsenal, 10-11. Yeah. And that's so Bordeaux won that league that year. Then I think
Montpellier, Giroud.
Yeah. Won that. Oh, no, that was 11-12, wasn't it? Okay, yeah. So, no, 11-12. Okay, I've got it now. 10-11 is when they won the league. The Lille with Gervinho and Cabaye. That's when they won the league. So that's when I first heard about him properly. Because of the Europa League as well. I was playing a lot.
They did a French double that year.
Yeah.
Literally, League and Cup double. And you know what?
The guy in question got Player of the Year as well.
And you know what? I think it's a highlight of his career because Eden Hazard's career has been one where he's consistently been achieving stuff no matter where he went. Mm-hmm. So the fact that people are calling him now a flop, bruv, shut your mouths in it. I swear to God, I hold every single one of you accountable for this. I have got my mentions written down. Just waiting it.
Listen, because there's another thing I love to stress is when I debate things, people love to go, this guy's here, instead of going, both of them are up here, but one can be slightly above.
There's always a quartile. You know we're both maths guys. You know what I mean? There's an upper quartile of world class.
It's like one guy. Why is it? It's not. It doesn't have to be a seesaw. It can just be like you're pouring water into the bucket, and one just happens to be slightly higher than the other because it's a bit more dense. You know what I mean?
It's that J. Cole line, isn't it? Why do we always have to compare LeBron against Jordan? Why don't we just call them the same? Like,
yeah. Even though MJ's better. But anyway, that debate. But yeah. Sorry.
But yeah,
so Hazard, great. Listen, great. The best start you can make in terms of like you're still young. He would have been 19, 20 at this time.
Yeah, madness. And then the worst part is like I think Joe Cole went there. So the year after they won the league, Champions League football, and I saw this quote from him. He rocks up. He goes, "I feel like I'm the adult in this team. I'm gonna take penalties. Nah, Eden's taking that. Cool, I'll take corners. Nah, Eden's taking that. Free kicks. Eden's taking that.
You
Like
got
he's
you got
like, who
nothing,
is
bro.
this?
You
Who is
play
this
your
19-year-old?
role, brother. Sit down.
Who is this 19-year-old? Like, and apparently when he saw him, he just knew in it. He knew that this guy was special, and I think we all did.
Well, this is the one thing I can say about both players, but for Hazard specifically, you know when a player is gifted. You know what I mean? From a young age, Leo showed that from before he obviously made it and started playing regularly. He had it. He had that about him. He was a class player. Oh, he's an incredible player. I don't want to mix up terms, but yeah, he has it. He has that X factor.
And you know what it is with Eden Hazard as well? It's the humbleness. He comes across as a cocky prick in his personality, but on the pitch, he's so humble. Like even off the pitch, sometimes the way he holds it, he's a man, bro. He's a man's man, bro.
Well, he's a lovable guy, cheeky chap, down to earth. This is what the problem becomes when you start talking about the very tip top of football in history, and why I don't think, for the most part, it still can, but I don't think it's going to work out how he wants it to at Real Madrid, because the brand of Real Madrid is we are the best. We are better than the rest. I don't care what's happened last season. I don't care what's happened to this point this season. I don't care what people think is going to happen next season. We are the best team in the world. No one can argue that. Everyone that comes in, best think like that. You get asked a question, answer them, telling them you ain't beating us.
You don't come back to training overweight.
We're the best team in the world. That's the mantra.
You don't come back to training.
There's been a bit of a shock factor personality-wise with Hazard.
Yeah, it's mad, isn't it? Like he came to. So then, all right, let's not go on a tangent. Let's do it.
All right, well, 11-12 final season at Lille. Solid season.
They disappointed me in the Champions League, though. I think they didn't win a game, if I'm not mistaken. They went, they didn't do that well in the Champions League. I remember because for me it was like, oh, you know what, Javinho, Hazard, Joe Cole, Sal. I think the striker. Remember him, Sal. Absolute killer in the right. This guy was a good player. I don't know.
Javinho had left by this point, though. That's the only thing.
Oh, bro, who else did they have in the midfield? Didn't they have? They had a good midfield, I think. Is it Kavai, Johan?
Kavai gone as well. That's what I'm saying. Remember, after they won the league, they got stripped.
But literally,
Kavai was still there. No, sorry, Kavai went to final season.
It was such a crazy. Like they had a good team there. Like, and then he moves to Chelsea. I don't know for you, but for me, like being a Chelsea fan, bruh, I remember his debut against Wigan in it. Ooh, man was cooking up James Harden style. Like, I was like, we got someone special.
The thing with this signing though is this season before, so 11-12. That's when I played FM 2012, and I invested a lot of time into that game. And I came across, like, I knew of Hazard before that, but I learned about Hazard through that game to make me have to watch him. And I was like, you know what? If my team right here can go and get this guy, I think we'd be living, 32 mil. I see Chelsea's got him. I was like, damn, okay.
Brother,
cool.
It was a statement. It was a statement by Chelsea as well. It's a statement that I don't think Chelsea have made. They've made maybe once or twice since the Diego Costa signing. And I think the N'Golo Kante signing. And I think it's about time we make another one of those signings, because it was literally Man United, suck your mum, we're taking him. Real Madrid, it don't matter who you are. We'll pay whatever it takes to take the best player. At that moment in time, he was the prospect. He was the gem. And I think we just missed out on Neymar. Like people love to forget, yeah? I think it was the summer before. Chelsea had agreed a deal with Santos for 30 million. And my man Pele, bro, why you got to do that? Rang him and said, the same for you, bro. And yeah, like, it's crazy. I don't think Hazard would have ever joined. And fact of the matter is like, yeah, it's just crazy all in all what's going on, isn't it?
Well, but this is the start of the true block for him, isn't it? Because first season, I think if you look back at it, there was like where the squad was actually at, because it's like, yeah, you just won the Champions League, but you'd also come sixth, so it was a bit skewed of like where the club was at. So to still get top four and winning Europa League, and obviously they upset the Club World Cup, but the other stuff kind of made up for it. It's
Don't
like
remind me of Rafa, fam.
you hit your
Don't piss
targets.
me off.
You hit your targets in terms of you got top four and you won a Europa League. You can be happy, especially Hazard first season. Happy.
Scored a banger in the Europa as well. I remember I think it was Slavia Prague. It was 94th minute. Cuts in. I'm like, all right, extra time. Boom. Literally, I was like, oh, this guy is so fire. Like,
to be fair, that reminds me, I think it's the following season, 13-14, the game against Stoke, where he had it and he put it onto his left foot. But all of this was that it was swift. It was like swift, nimble footwork, but it wasn't like he's sprinting or nothing. And the next thing, he just shoots from what felt like a standing position. And I was like...
And you know what else is mad, yeah? It's literally... Literally, it's that same game he scored a header. And my man was tapping his head because he's never scored a header before. So he literally was just tapping it. And that's the takeaway from that game. Man, he's such a lovable character. But in my humble opinion, he underachieved at Chelsea.
Yeah, so... In terms of you've just joined the Champions League winners, and since never come close.
Oh, allow it. Why you got to say it like that?
Because
why you got to say it like that? Because it's so true.
You got to a semis, to be fair, but it's like again, it's the mindset of you won and you don't get to the finals. And then I get Man City were becoming the powerhouse they end up being. Man U had one last stint the first season he joined. So it's naturally the Premier League is a case of no team is going to dominate this league.
But I don't think it's of any fault of his own, though. If you realistically think about it, yeah, he was never backed. Like, whether it was the manager, whether it was accompanying him with the right players for long enough, like, something always went wrong, bro. This guy actually... So either they give him Cesc and they give him Costa. They do absolute madness the year then, like, together. And they go out in the Champions League, I think it was the PSG. But then after that, it's just Costa wants to go, or this player's old, or injuries. He just never had the luck. Like,
but it showed, didn't it? It showed in the results that come from it. Because you go 12-13 first season, you hit the minimum targets. 13-14, you do better. Semis of Champions League, third in the league, and I forgot about every cup. But you know what I mean? You third in that, and what's it called?
Yeah,
14-15.
I got it up here, bro.
I've got the wiki page. I don't know why, but I keep going mine. 14-15, he wins his first Premier League, gets Player of the Year. He also wins the Carling Cup, which for the life of me before today, I didn't remember. I was like, who did they play in the final? I saw Tottenham, but I do not have any recollection.
I remember that because Mourinho went into that game. Yeah, my man had Zuma defensive midfield next to Cesc because Matic was suspended. Yeah, it was a dead game, but it is what it is, isn't it? Anytime you can beat.
And again, it's a trophy. And again, the bigger thing is it led on to the big one. As you said, Champions League, go out to PSG, and then the following season is, I think, everyone unanimously can say is Hazard's worst season at Chelsea.
Bro, you know what's mad though? Even in his worst season at Chelsea, people still feared him, people still rated him, and I think that's the pattern of these great players. Like, you can have an off season, but you get rated and you get loved and you get cherished. And
well, this is a thing where we as fans, obviously spectators, consumers of football, we think of it in a term of, oh, this guy's sick, or we need to put these people in the box. Oh, they've just fell out the box. Oh, they're out of it. Can they do it anymore? Whereas players, managers, coaches, scouts, like the setup, the actual footballing setup that's directly involved, they understand the quality is not gone. Especially Hazard was 26 at the time, 25.
Without a doubt, man.
You know what I mean? Right. So it's like he hasn't lost his talent. It's just whatever it may be. It was just a morale thing, probably.
I don't even think
the way the club was set up at the time. It just.
Fam, the man is I don't have the stat in front of me, but I can guarantee you for every year he's been in the Premier League, he most probably was the most fouled player. After a while, yeah, it takes a toll on everyone's body. Like, he had that 1 year off. If anything, in my opinion, that year off, yeah, was a savior in his career where it prolonged his Chelsea career. And now, I'm telling you, lot, wait till my man gets back. Yeah? Wait till Hazard's been off for a year. Yeah, he's going to come back a little bit fat. But I'm telling you, when my man trims up, that six-pack comes out, and you lot are going to see the second coming of Cristiano Ronaldo at that club, bro. Yeah? No, there's no calm down. This is my guy. Like, I will always defend Eden.
Just there. Yeah? Okay, at least there.
Listen,
he's gonna be he can be the next Galactico, but I think it's to the point now with Real Madrid. Just to quickly point that out, I'm not gonna go through it all, but there's Di Stefano, Cristiano Ronaldo. They're the untouchables.
And Raul.
Zidane. And Raul, because he fits the bill on every sort of thing, like a native.
When I say Real Madrid, Real Madrid, you think Raul?
Well, no. So I honestly, I said Di Stefano first, that I think of. CR7 because of recency, and then Raul Zidane, and then they've had other great players. Figo is an example of one, but they didn't hit the untouchable status. If you know what I mean. But yeah.
And then basically, we covered Eden Hazard now. Like,
just to quickly finish up, he wins another Premier League. He had his player of the season the first time round. He gets his buddy N'Golo Kante in to, just shore up that next one. He gets his first and only FA Cup. And then, he's
able Europa Leagues.
That's what I said. He's able to leave on a good note with a third place finish and the Europa League title.
I'm not going to lie to you lot, yeah? I'm not going to lie to you lot. The VAR shagged him of another League Cup title. And that speech at the end of you know what I'm talking about, when Ruben done that Mazine over the flick
against Man City, innit?
Against Man City. He flicked it over his head, played the through ball, and that dickhead assistant, I'm sorry, YouTube, innit? I am sorry, but sometimes you gotta don't piss me off, innit?
You could say a lot worse than that, so
my man held the flag up. Why are you holding the flag? Bruv? Just let it go. Eden would have scored that because it was the last minute, my man's clutch, and next thing you know, VAR would have said no goal or goal. When I saw the highlights, I thought it was onside. The angle was a bit dodgy, but we'll always live with we don't know what would have happened. Went on, Kepa did the madness. We ain't going to talk about that.
I'll let you cover a video on that at a later time.
Bruh, go back and watch that video. Just see, man was in a suit, vexed, straight from a wedding, bro. Bengali wedding, wavy one.
I remember.
But no, so all jokes aside, 2 Premier League titles, League Cup, 2 Europas, and an FA Cup. 6 years. That's a great career. Like, he's already won Copa de España as well. Don't forget that, innit? My man won Copa de España. Yeah.
Right. So
don't try to disrespect.
He had a. I think it was a very good career, but to say that about Hazard, in the grand scheme, you're thinking again. We're talking about the upper echelons. It's like that doesn't feel like enough.
But the thing is, Eden's 28.
No, I'm just saying for that portion.
Yeah.
His career's not done. No, it's like, but up to this point, you say very good, and you're going like, why does that feel like, what's it called, a criticism?
Ethan, don't worry, bro, because he's only 28. He got a third place World Cup finale.
29 now.
29 now. Okay, he's got third place now, right? He's gonna be recharged, come back like Thanos. Next year at the Euros, he's gonna whack him out. All of a sudden, adds the Euros to his calendar, then goes to Qatar the year after and retires because he's the type to retire at 31. Finale, bro.
Well, the beauty of this is that we love hypotheticals right here. We love hypotheticals.
It's not. It's facts, bro. I can see it already.
Facts in the future, yeah, love it.
All right, let's go on to Gareth.
By the way, anyways, we move on to his competitor in this video. We quickly switch over to him. There you go. Go on.
All right, Gareth Bale.
Do you want me to do opening this time or?
I'm not gonna lie to you, yeah. I didn't know much about him until he joined Spurs. Chat to me.
Well, I said started up at Southampton. Southampton are renowned for having one of the best, if not, well, maybe not now because of Chelsea, but over time, probably the best youth setup in England. He was the second youngest player to make their debut at 16 years and whatever days. First being Theo Walcott before he went Arsenal.
Another flop.
But I think I don't care how you feel about Bale. Bale's career is definitely better than Walcott's, but
without a doubt.
Okay, cool. But then from that point on, he played in the Championship for a season or two. He also got Young Player of the Year, or got into the Team of the Year. Sorry, he got the World's Young Player of the Year or something like that. But then it continues. Like the real point that we can all talk about when I first found out about him when he first moved to Tottenham. And I think looking back at it, in terms of we now know him as the right winger or attacking phenomenon that he is. But from Southampton he played left back and left wing, but Tottenham is like he came in to play left back. Which it feels weird, doesn't it?
Right, he can't defend. Like that's it. Like he couldn't defend.
That's why it feels weird. It's like and even when he first broke out, it's like he's making these bursting run down the left, and it's like you're playing him left back.
And let's not beat around the bush. Like realistically, if you think about it, about Bale as well, the Maicon game put him on the map. Oh
yeah, in terms of on a world stage, 100%.
I even think like when before that you're like, yeah, he's got potential, but what could he be?
No. So this is what I'm saying. The 2009-10 season, around from January, so 2010 hit, and from that moment to the end of the season, it switched. I can track it back. That's when us in England, like the Premier League, started putting him on blast. Like before that, again, I can only go off of there's many comments made by obviously you got your pundits, which is take their word if you want or not. I tend to
we don't do them.
We're going more than that. You got your pundits, you got ex-pros, his teammates, staff that are with him, and they said that when you see Bale play in those times from 07 to 09, he wasn't actually terrible. Like he wasn't bad. It's just that the club were looking great, and he was found out because of his playing style. Like a left back who, at that time, it wasn't the norm to just break out from left back and do what you do now. You know what I mean?
I think you know what else is telling. Like because now we're comparing the two careers. Eden's team was built around Eden to get the best out of Eden.
From early.
Bale's team, from early, and I think that's the beauty of being at Lille, if that makes sense. So, but being at Spurs.
And joining young as well. That's the thing.
Exactly. And remember, this is a decent Spurs. Hey, listen, don't kill me in it. You lot, do not kill me for saying this. But this was a decent Spurs team. Like
they got to a few finals, didn't it? They had worse than that before. So
they had Robbie Keane, Jermaine Defoe, Rafael van der Vaart, Luka Modric, Berbatov, bro. Even though he's a fraud, and we ain't gonna talk about that. He's a good touch merchant, though. We'll talk about that another day. Yeah.
Okay,
he's not as good as everyone says.
I've let it slip. I've let that process. Yeah. I ain't gonna touch on that.
Okay. He's an absolute fraud.
Stop. Okay. Modric was there. Van der Vaart joined 10-11, which we'll get into. Which is okay. We might as well move into his breakout season globally, because 10-11, Tottenham finally make the Champions League.
And they did well.
And they, for what it's worth, had a very impressive squad.
And I don't even think impressive as in stars. They had, now hindsight says these are breakout stars.
But at the time, they were very good players.
They were good players.
That's what it is. So Modric and Bale specifically, is that you look at them and you go, okay, we know they have the potential to be world class and whatever. But at the time, very good. And then Van der Vaart is a Ajax graduate who has always been known as a baller.
They had Benoit Asuakoto left back. I love that guy. I absolutely love that guy.
The most realist guy, bro. He's like, I don't love football, bro.
I don't love football.
Yeah, I'm getting a paycheck, bro. I get the underground still, bro.
Man's here to get paid. Why am I gonna get? I don't love this game. I love it.
But So in the Bell debate, we're gonna go into obviously his.
Hold on. Before we go in, did you watch the Inter game live? What was going through your mind? Because that is his highlight. That is his greatest ever performance. No matter what he does in his career right now, I think he will always look back at it as like, shit, that made me.
Oh no,
That will
it will
define
always
him.
no. It will. Okay, so this is where I'm trying to greatest. I need to look back, but most important, undeniable.
It
You know
defined
what I
him.
mean? Because a great when you say greatest performance, it's just like if you picked that one time on a playing field when he was just at his peak, untouchable, everything was right,
Mm.
then you could probably find another game. But that was, of course, his most important that game in his career. That can't be questioned because what people need to remember, 2010, Maicon was the best right back in the world.
Madness, isn't it?
And then
Yeah.
overnight, he turned into one of the worst, most overrated right backs in the world.
I'll tell you what happened. Jose left, Rafa came in. That's all that happened. Jose got the best out of that team and said, you know what? I'm about to cut because I see what's about to happen. And he left.
One player can't. You don't go from and
it didn't only happen to him.
Brought the first take references. I'm gonna use a first take reference. Like Stephen A said to Max, Giannis was best player in the world on a Thursday. He went down to fifth by a Monday.
Literally.
He dropped down 4 places overnight.
Oh man, it's actually mad though. You know when you think about it.
Yeah.
They were a team that dominated. Like they were a very
that season was like scary. That interseason, Jose interseason is one of the most underrated, greatest teams in a single season, isolated.
Fam, anyone that's watching this now, innit, and is like, oh, you know what, Mourinho is a fraud, Mourinho is this, like anyone that's new to the game, look, I understand, I respect you guys.
Barcelona, let's watch that game.
All I'm gonna say is you will want to see the real Mourinho, and like, you know how everyone talks about Fergie in such high esteem. And for me, Mourinho, which he deserves, but for me, Mourinho will always be the best manager I have ever seen because of what he achieved in that decade, that 10 years of football, of when he joined Porto to when he went to Madrid. What he achieved in that time span, you lot just go and watch. There will be a documentary in it. There will be a documentary one day, and I'll be here eating it all up, fam. I'm telling you now.
Yeah, that will be the most anticipated documentary of all time.
He literally, he had everything: style, swagger, charisma.
Well, this again, it's another big thing, which is I've always respected. Well, I'm not. I probably always liked on the verge of loving Mourinho, and then recently I now love Mourinho unquestionably. But I've always respected him in the highest regard. And one thing I can respect a lot about him now is people need to realize football is more than just football. It's more than just on the pitch. You've got to bring eyes. You've got to make people want to hear you. You want to bring attention. And Mourinho knew how to do that in both ways, whether it's through just the personality on a positive end or knowing how to put attention onto this situation. So everyone drags it there and brings it Mourinho. But then you forget, because he's done that, all the players now, they ain't been questioned today.
Literally.
After losing 3-0 or something. That's an art.
You know, we're talking about Mourinho. Now I'm going to bring in the tangent of AVB and Bale's final season at Spurs. The highlight of that moment for me is that last-minute winner against West Ham. Yep. And that was the moment when he ran to AVB and jumped in his hands. And I was like, this is actually a star. Like, this
you know what my favorite bit about that goal is? The moment before it where he lost the ball. And then demanded it back.
It's literally it was a team full of characters as well. Like, who are you, bro? You're some Welsh guy who hasn't achieved much in your career, but you're demanding, I'm the man of this team. Like,
I said, by that point, so you got to 12-13, he was undeniably the best player in the team, especially that Modric had left that season.
But
so there's no question.
Listen to this: 21 league goals in 33 appearances, 26 goals, 26 goals in 44 games across all competitions. They went out in the Champions League. I think it was the Real Madrid, quarterfinal.
No, it wasn't Champions League. It's Europa League.
Yeah, right. It was one of those things where they're just he was a great player, and then he made his star move to Real Madrid.
This is where big time comes in now.
Fam, he got jacked. I don't know how. I don't know what they feed them at Madrid, but he turned into Cristiano Ronaldo 2.0.
Well, that's what they fed him. They fed him Ronaldo's right next to me now. This is because people need to remember, Bale idolized Ronaldo, okay? He said this publicly before he moved, when he moved. Probably has a Ronaldo poster on his wall, okay?
Yeah.
To this day. He loves that man. So, when you're in that environment and you get to learn directly, I'm not surprised he turned Jack.
So, in your opinion, why is his tenure at Madrid viewed as such a failure? When, if you look at it on paper, it looks amazing.
It looks so good, doesn't it? Like, it looks so deceiving. And I can admit that. I can admit it looks deceiving. But what it is with him, and this is kind of funny because it's like what should knock him is why I put him. This is why this argument is here today, basically.
Watch your mouth.
His first season, I'm reading directly, was plagued by injuries. This man, in his first season at Real Madrid, felt like he missed half the season. Every time he was back, he was gone again because of injury.
Yeah,
it was weird. I'll even try to get the stats for that season. So
he got 22 goals in 44 games.
Yeah.
50,
So 15 in the league,
27
games. Yeah. And we can't break down substitute appearances on Wiki, but
the
let's
thing
say
is,
5-10.
The thing is, though, I'm gonna say one thing. I think when we look at La Liga stats in the league, especially in that time frame, that zone, it was something unbelievable. As in, Madrid and Barca were putting five in. They were putting 5 past teams on a regular basis. Like, I think it's unbelievable what they were doing at times. Remember, it was Ronaldo scores 4, Bale will score 1, and then Messi will score 6 by himself. Like, it's literally a madness.
Yeah, it's hard, and this is where I think again with the whole trying to put detriment to one to raise the other. People need to understand is. Yes, you can say Real Madrid, Barcelona, and I'm putting in Atletico Madrid because this is where it started. They were in a league of their own, and then Premier League can debate. I don't know if anymore. Hopefully, the other clubs bring it back. But there was 6 teams at one point where you go, "Oh, these actually look like they're gonna make the push, and we're gonna break off." But it's 6, like 6 teams compared to 3. It's a big difference. But that doesn't mean then you're talking about Real Madrid in comparison to Barcelona. Probably the greatest club since the turn of the century. So you're going to really go out there and be like, if you, as Real Madrid, do not win a league, you're not poor. They can set their own standards. I can respect that because they're a club. They're trying to strive for greatness. But us going to look back and go, you lot only won 2 leagues compared to Barcelona's. No. Bale. I'm just trying to go in the time frame, like the decade. It says a lot. It has to be counted for. And then the fact that this guy, when you deep it didn't feel like he had the actual part to play because he was never about for the big times. Until
Champions League finals, yeah.
This is what I mean. This is where his true greatness for me, shined. And obviously, Hazard has not been in a situation to prove he can do the same thing. I get that.
I don't even say that though, because
I know you don't.
He's trying to piss me off already. Like he's trying to piss.
Well, where do you hear this? Where do you hear me trying to piss you off? I'm trying to make my case of why I'm trying to build an understanding. The guy in his first season, Real Madrid make the promised land after. I'm trying to think now. This is 12 years since their last Champions League final appearance. Real Madrid, 12 years. You get there finally. It's
a great team. Great team though.
You're up against the most best dark horse team of all time in Atletico Madrid. It felt like that season. They came. I know they were building up from before that.
It was meant to be us. It was meant to be us. It was meant.
Are come to stop Real Madrid doing their greatness, and it looked like up until the 90th minute that was the case.
It was meant to be us. It was meant to be
great player to come and go, nah, we're staying in this. Sergio Ramos. He gets a lot of stick. Put respect on my guy's name, bro. He is a Real Madrid legend. Okay? Yeah. Comes up, saves the day. Part 1. Now, it's 1-1. Like, is having the game of his life. Doing his thing. But think of all the players that are on the pitch. You still had Ronaldo on. You still had Benzema on. You had Xabi Alonso. Oh no, he was suspended. Sorry. You had did Casemiro come back or was he still at Porto?
No, it was Luca. It's a
Yeah, so
midfield three of them.
Modric and then there was someone else. I can't think.
Modric, Cruz, and Di Maria, bro. I don't know how that midfield.
No, Cruz went there. Cruz joined after. I know that. But it's someone anyway.
It was a madness though.
The point stands. You have all these great players. Ronaldo being the main man and Benzema. But who comes with that clutch moment to score the winning goal before half-time and extra time? Man like Bale.
It was the leap, innit? It was
the leap.
Leap was magnificent.
Like, you know, when you score and you can see that even you don't support the club, but you see that moment and you're like, yes!
But I think it was a
Amazing.
football moment. I think it was one of those, it's the shit that happens in football where you're like, oh my God.
He done that twice that season. So he done the goal against Barca in the cup final. he does that.
But,
he has this moment to help. He's a part of history by default. No one can argue that.
Hey, police are still looking for Bartra, bro. He's still missing. I ain't seen him since then, bro.
Hand that, or was it drink to my fallen soldier, bro? That's another story. But
bro, you know what? All jokes aside, though, he's achieved so much in this game, like because.
I'm not going into detail from 14-15 to 16-17. There's no detail to be had. He had the 15-16 season. He scored 19 goals in 23 league games. I don't know where that come from, but fair play, he done it. And they won the Champions League 16-17. Ronaldo.
Yeah, but then they won the Champions League. He basically played no part in it. 8 games, 0 goals. Like
again,
that said something.
Yeah. Listen, but he scored. That's what I'm saying. He scored 19 in 23. So he done something. That's a great return in the league, an incredible return. And then I can't comment on the Europe because he didn't score. So I don't know.
But you know what though? I'm gonna say one thing in it. Mm-hmm. The fact that they've only won 1 league title in the 7 years he was there, and you can't even argue that they've always had a weaker team because they've always had a wavy team. You're proving it in Europe. It just says a lot about the mentality of the team, and I think he's a big issue of the mentality because Bale's mentality. We say Hazard has a bad mentality. Bale's is just as bad, fam.
Okay, so this the hindrance. I come with pros and cons. I'm a fair guy. I'm not going to be deluded about this. Bale has his problems. It's a I can't lie about them. So let me I'll get through this. With the league, my gripe with that is, as I said, is if it was a case of they won 1 league, and let's say 1 cup, and even let's say 2 Champions League. So we won 1 at the beginning and 1 somewhere in the middle. That's not good. You know what I mean? It doesn't look great. You're at Real Madrid. You strive for better. You've got Ronaldo there, you two and Benzema and all the supporting cast. No disrespect. You go and do greatness. Toss it up with Barca. They shouldn't win it every year. Mm-hmm. Here's where, again, my argument comes back. So 16-17, they win it 2nd time in a row. Hasn't been done in, I want to get exact, it was, I want to say
AC Milan.
1980.
No, AC Milan.
What, in the 90s?
I think AC Milan were the team to retain it.
Maybe they won it. So the last year before it was called the Champions League, and then the year after, maybe. But I think
AC Milan won
that though. Anyway, Real Madrid become the first team to defend it that season. Okay, but then that's not where. This is where now 17-18. This is where Bale earned the title of being in that tier. He gets his 16 goals and 26 in the league. He does his thing. He scores some bangers on the way. Champions League, before the final, he played that game against Dortmund, scored a screamer on the volley. Incredible. Shows his tech. He's got great tech. He's at Real Madrid. Of course, he's got great tech. He's come on the 61st minute in the Champions League final. It's 1-1. Karius has had a howler and then Liverpool brought back and it's 1-1. 61st minute. Marcelo's crossed the ball with his right foot, I need to add. He's crossed the ball with his right foot. All of a sudden, the heavens open up with Zidane, who before that, undebatably, no one can ever argue with this, scored the greatest Champions League final goal, potentially greatest Champions League goal of all time. With that man watching, Bale comes out of nowhere like a salmon.
But you know what makes it worse?
Again, arguably the greatest goal. I still go with Zidane, but I'm biased. again,
time after time, yeah, time after time, Bale was getting counted out. Zidane said, "I don't want him. I don't want him," and it's literally, I think it's a testament, but at the same time, a criticism of him. Like, bro, I rate you for being like nonchalant and coming back and fighting over and over again, defying the odds. But fam, why do you have to defy the odds when you're this good? Why do you have to defy the odds when you're that wavy? Like, you shouldn't be.
Well, again, now I've got to that point. Pros are done because 89 was a poor season for Real Madrid on every account. The whole thing I said about before, don't even come into matter. They were terrible.
Bro, the Champions League, yeah, for me, I think it's been a poor decade for Real Madrid. If you look at it over, like, if you ignore if the Champions League didn't exist and you look at just their league finishes, it's been a poor.
That's what I mean. It's hard to say that because the Champions League, realistically, is still, even in Premier League, like it's the holy grail. The only club, literally, that treat the league more important is us because.
And City.
Well, yeah, because that's what I mean. You have the team on the come up part, you know what I mean, contention, and then you've got the team that have not won their domestic league in over 30 years.
Yeah.
And they've won the Champions League within that time. So naturally, league is the focus. Every other team that's great, Champions League is the most important.
Yeah, as it should be though. Like, exactly. I think
like Liverpool, realistically, if we had won the league this year, I'm gonna say if, because I'm not trying to get into all that because it hurts.
Hashtag void.
If we win this
void. Everyone started.
Then we go back to saying, okay, Champions League is more important again. And same with Man City.
Everyone, whoever's watching this, if you made it this far, yeah, because we're chatting a hell of a lot of breeze here right now. Hashtag void the season. I want it below in my comments, all right? Hashtag void the season.
And then I'll come with a count, hashtag save the season. Yeah?
Yeah?
Save it.
So if you don't want to save the season and be on Team Ethan, Team Bale over there, or if you want to be Team Hazard down here.
I know a lot of you lot are Chelsea fans, innit? Don't put that bit. Just say, we'll save this season. You lot are about to come third. Save the season.
All right. So, all realness now, let's compare it, yeah?
Okay, go on. I've got
ability-wise.
Okay.
Who'd you pick? If you were picking one to have in your team, ability-wise from a young age as a prospect, Bale, Hazard.
From a young age.
Yeah.
Well, okay. First off, the actual answer for me is young age.
No. I'll ask you that after. Like.
No, there's a two-part. So first off, I'll put it like this. First off, do I think one outshone the other from a young age? No. I'll put that straight out. Knowing what I know now, who would I rather have? I'd rather have Hazard because I prefer what he brings to the team. Mentality says a lot. The biggest gripe I did want to say against Bale is, and this is one thing I hate about Brits. I don't want to make it personal for the Brits. You know what I mean? That are Arturian. I've born and raised here my whole life. We like to be very stubborn. We like to go to other countries and assume they should all be speaking English. That's not the way it goes. When people come here and then not speak English, you're quick to shit on them. It's a two-way street. Bale's made the decision to move his life out to Spain, to play for one of the greatest clubs, and not learn Spanish. He hasn't learned hola. Mi amo Gareth. Gracias.
And you know that. And
I learned that in year 8, and I remember that. And you don't have the time to just, like, the basics. This is what people need to realize. You go abroad, they just respect effort. And it starts with how you approach the people. I was reading before this, talking, you know, when Marcelo come out saying, yeah, Bale doesn't sit with us for dinner. He goes to bed early. Like Courtois was saying, it's natural in Spain. You have your dinner late. You get there 9:30. You finish at 10:15. You have a coffee after it. Your bedtime is 1 a.m. Bale's like, no, I can't do that. I'm going to bed at 11.
Mad, innit? It's just the dynamics different.
And this is where, again, if you like back to the original thing, if you're gonna say who's better, I prefer Hazard. I prefer Hazard. I just think when you go through tears and end the career, you go Hazard. He's got time. Prove me wrong. Go for it. I love it when the best players in the world prove me wrong. Do it. But where they're at now, if it was to finish, I'd say they're the same tier. I prefer Hazard. Back to your question.
quick disclaimer: the views of Ethan do not represent the Kavkas views.
Oh yeah. Again, listen, Liverpool fan here.
Yeah.
You got Chelsea fan. He loves his football, but when it comes to Chelsea, he's back in the side, innit? I see you lot to chill out.
But no, all jokes aside, international. Who had a better international career?
You know what? I was thinking about this beforehand, and it's hard for me to give a definitive answer because initially I was like, standards of Wales in compared to standards of Belgium. I would make the argument that Wales, because also another thing you have to take into account, the one time they came into direct opposition, Bale won.
Don't get me started on that.
So that's what I'm saying. But then
I need to
that means I'm underplaying getting third in the World Cup, which I don't like to do because I think the World Cup is the true holy grail of football. I love the World Cup. Even like that 2018, generally speaking, I think I loved it from a tactical point of view, but I don't think it was as entertaining as people think. Obviously, being from England, it was a great time. The summer was at its peak. Going to the pubs to watch games, it was live. Like, in terms of lifestyle, it was a great time to be alive. But when you break it down and actually watch back some of the football, there are some standout games. Spain, Portugal won. My favourite, France, Argentina. But
other than that, but you know what? Realistically, I think Eden Hazard had a better World Cup.
And then also the reason now I can say I think Hazard had the better international because we checked this yesterday. Modric got to a final. He took Croatia to a final, but Hazard was the best player at that World Cup.
Was the best player, and Messi was there as well. So if Messi's alive and at the party, and you labeled the best player in the world at that moment, at that tournament, I give you props. Marina shagged them and took that extra 20 million in it.
He had another season and the Europa League to add to that as well.
Oh man, but all jokes aside, for me, I don't even think it's a debate. I think Eden had a better career on an international standpoint. But
and the international, I give Hazard the win because of that World Cup. Because it's that World Cup versus that year of 2016 and the individual honours, and I mean he deserved the individual honours, which is why I bring it up. So
you know what's worrying, when you have a team of Kevin De Bruyne, you have a team of Romelu Lukaku, Mertens, Vertonghen, Company, Alderweireld, Courtois. I can go on. Tielemans, right? You're meant to be a good team. Like my man's still carrying them. Like. And I think it's worrying. They need to change that. And I blame managers. I blame systems. It's never Hazard because he performs. He shows up. I remember even at the Euros, he showed up in the last 16, last 18 against Wales. Wales just had one of those days where, it was meant to be your night.
They played their game proper.
And
Belgium couldn't.
Stupid Mark Wilmots, bro. Don't get me started with him, innit?
No,
Dead tactics.
Turned world class for one game,
bro. We were doing a little flick and Company as well with spam head, bro. What are you doing? Yeah.
But
jarring guy. But no, all in all, like I think club career. Whose cabinet do you want?
Whose cabinet?
Yeah.
I'm
tomorrow,
sorry.
You wake up, you become one of them at age 20. Whose cabinet do you want? You
20.
live the exact, So
30,
no. Tomorrow, you wake up not as Ethan, you're either Gareth or Hazard. All of a sudden, the genie tells you you're gonna live the exact life they lived this whole time.
Okay.
Who would you pick?
Oh, well,
whose cabinet do you want?
See, okay, so again, it's cabinet.
Yeah, cabinet. That's it.
Yeah,
you don't even need to be
cabinet.
Not ability, just cabinet.
Yeah. Like we don't go into injuries, all that. Cabinet. You say 4 Champions Leagues, 3 of them in a row. Part of history, and I still won a league at least. So it's not all doom and gloom. I still got a league. I still got a cup, and I'm part of probably without looking to it deeper. I'm gonna say straight off the top 3, like achievements of all time in football to win 3 Champions Leagues in a row in this time. The most before that was Real Madrid in 55-60. Di Stefano, rest in peace. You're a god. You done your thing. But 3 in a row in this day and age, give me that, man. Respect to Hazard. You won 2 Premier Leagues. I respect that. I love the Premier League but part of that's grown up here and it's the most entertaining league in the world. But that's not enough for me.
For me, I genuinely think cabinet. The Champions League push him over in it. I want to fight. I want to argue. But I can't be deluded in that. I think the 4 Champions Leagues, bruh, he just, it's the right place at the right time where you play your right moments, and he did his thing, fam.
Yeah, I didn't even give you, if Hazard, say, had 1 to his name, and then you said Hazard, I'd be like, fair enough. That's your opinion. Respect.
I think it's I understand people are going to say you're devaluing the Europa League. Yes, I am.
In comparison to the Champions League, it has to be devalued.
Right, and I'm sorry, you got 2 Premier League titles, wavy. 2 Europa Leagues, wavy. You got 2 cups, wavy. Copa de España, wavy. But you got the French League. I understand. The last question I am going to ask you, who's left a bigger legacy at the clubs he was at? The legacy standpoint. Because I always say, once you retire, and we put you in the icons, right?
But this is a different question.
How many ride or dies are you going to have, bruv? How many Alexes are you going to have chanting your name, fam?
Again, this is a different question. So this is not the initial one. I'm going to answer the question you asked, though. Hazard has left a much bigger impact on Chelsea than Bale has. And, he was a great player at Lille, but you got to think time does a lot. He's in the alumni at Lille. He's in the alumni, but at Chelsea, he's up there with the best of the best.
Right, but you know what, yeah?
And then Belgium, he'll go down as one of their best, national players. But Chelsea specifically, again, why we're having this conversation now, he left a legacy that's going to be untouched. There's never going to be no hindrance that comes from it. It's going to be remained in greatness. And Bale's best comparison to that is what the legacy left with Wales. Respect to Wales, they do their thing. They become a better footballing nation in his time. Getting to the semis is a great achievement, but you're comparing it to that. It doesn't have the same effect.
My question is, this is my plea, and I'm going to explain this. When they both retire and they look over their careers, whilst Bale might say, "Oh, look at my trophy cabinet. Look how wavy he is. I've got these Champions League medals.
Look how I won some of these. Look at the moments I have to accomplish.
Look at the moments." All he's going to have to think is, Southampton fans, you can't have a direct affiliation with them. You weren't there long enough to give them happiness. Spurs fans, a lot of them say he ditched them. Madrid, who loves him at Madrid? They want him out. Hazard's got Lille. They love him as a GOAT. He brought him a league title. He brought him a cup, a double that will be spoken about in years to come. Chelsea fans speak so highly of him. For me, the greatest ever Chelsea player. No debate for me. I think Didier's close, Lampard's close, Terry's close. But if you say
honorable mention Zola,
and Zola as well. But then now he's off to Madrid. And you know what? His song isn't written yet. So if his song isn't written yet, I think it's hard to say what's going to happen. But I'm judging it off what's happened so far. This guy will be a success there as well, man. Eden Hazard is a baller. Eden Hazard will forever be a baller. And he's better than Bale in every way, anyhow, every day. Enough, all right? Stop with this negativity.
We're probably not in every way, but okay.
Every way he's better than him.
The point, back to the final bit, we'll leave you. Well, I'm guessing we've been on this for a while. We'll leave it at this.
Yeah, bro.
The point of this whole conversation from the beginning. Me and Alex, we discussed tiers in world football going at all time. So you have your gods, which is Messi, Ronaldo. You could put Pele up there.
Hey, hold on. That could be a video for another day. Don't tell him the list.
Oh, well, okay.
We can educate.
Messi, Ronaldo, and etc. Because that's obvious, okay?
Yeah,
so that's the gods. Then you have the icons, which again you can do. There's debate. Some could be in the gods to some people. Some can be. So, but an example is Johan Cruyff.
Yeah.
You may consider him a god. I'd consider him an icon. Yeah.
For example, some people might be dumb and say Zidane. Nah, bro, God.
Well, okay, those are up for debate. You know what I mean? I respect that. Then under that, I don't know. I put legend because I feel like there's icon and then legends is across. So this is where you get into the Gerrards, They're
Eden
Lampard,
Hazard.
Beckham. Potentially, I don't think he's there now. This is my point.
Oh,
Because he's a Chelsea legend. This is my point. I'm not talking
he's
about
a
club
real
legend.
legend.
I'm talking legends in world football. And with the end of their career, I don't think right now, if the game was to end right now, you go, yeah, Hazard was a legend in world football. You look at a Ruud Gullit, you go, a legend in football. Van Basten, legend in football. Patrick Vieira,
Belgium,
a legend in
third
football.
Third place. Legend internationally. Legend for Lille. Legend at Chelsea. Soon to be legend at Real Madrid.
You're talking about one tournament, yeah?
But it's
he's
massive.
done amazing.
My man got 100,000 people outside jumping up and down singing his name.
Yeah, and I'm talking in a world respect. This is the point.
Who doesn't respect it?
Belgium and Chelsea does not make up the footballing world. Okay?
You know what?
But this is the point, anyways. So you've seen those are the top tiers. After legend, you have world class, which is where I am putting both of those two right now. Bale, I think, has dropped down to he's near mid to below average because injuries, mindset, and he has his moments which put him up there, but he just wasn't like Ronaldo was undebatably the bad man in that team. No questions asked.
It was Ronaldo's team.
Always around. From the beginning of the season to the end of the season, I'm always here. Bale can't say that. Benzema could even say that. Bale can't say that. That's why I put him below. Hazard, I put at the top. And let's say I'll say this now. If he does the same thing or better, which means winning the Euros, I'll put him in that legend category. Because that's 2 international tournaments, and then hopefully by that point he would have won a league or a Champions League.
You heard it here first. Heard it here first.
Quarantine. Because again, his career is not done. He's 29, and in this day and age, players are playing till 37. So he's got time.
But you know what, though? We'll wrap it up on this, guys, man. I hope. I like that. Stay safe. That's the one thing I can say right now. Don't be going outside for no reason.
Hands. I can't stress this enough. 10 seconds. I know they say 20 seconds. I'm gonna make it a bit more. 10 seconds minimum. Count out 10 seconds. Get some soap. I've got hand sanitizer. Wait, where is it? Yeah. Little bowl. That's all you need. Bit of hand sanitizer.
It's not even that deep though. Sometimes, literally, just stay at home. Alcohol.
Hands. If you don't need to be out, don't go out.
But people are telling me I needed some alcohol to be in quarantine. Nah, bro, you don't need it. It's not essential. Please stay at home. Be smart. Use this mind. And look, if you lot enjoyed this content, hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. You know the deal. Me and Ethan are bored. I've got some exams to study for. During my break, I want to sit and chill with my boy. If you want me to bring on anyone else and have a conversation like this, give them a shout out, innit? Anyone you guys want, at them on Kavkas. You know the Twitter already. But yeah, man. So thank you for having yourself on.
Always a pleasure.
It's always a pleasure.
The most heated one we've had, and I'm all for it.
Yeah, man. And I think it's always nice to go down nostalgia lane. But man, I'm out. Peace.